So here is Nateo, and again you can see his beautiful alfalfa he has, and it's been a little bit of a crazy couple of days, so I haven't necessarily been able to work with him as much as I would have liked. So sometimes it can feel like you go a couple of steps forward, a couple of steps back, but so here versus in the last video, he saw me and walked right up to me, but now we're having to do a little bit of convincing, and that's par for the course. So I'm just trying to see if I can get him to face up and see if he will come to me a couple of steps. He can tend to start off a little blowy in the beginning, and then as soon as he touches and I walk away, he kind of takes a breath and relaxes a little bit. And he seems to like when I do a little bit of motion in my hand. Again, every horse is different. Sometimes they want you to be really still, but for him, he seems to like if I do a little bit of a gesture to my hand, which sometimes you wouldn't always think. You would think that would send him away, but he seems to like that. So trying to figure out what they kind of like is kind of the trick to it. So now I'm working with the rope, and he says, yeah, I'm not so sure about that, and so he walks away. But that's okay. I'm just gonna go back and see if I can get his attention again. And you can see he is shedding big time. So over by me, there's just a litter of Mustang hair from where he's shedding out. And there you can kind of see his coat that he's starting to get rid of. And this is actually kind of nice to see him express a little bit of energy, because I think he was kind of dull in the beginning, but he's starting to put on some weight already. So we're gonna work through a little bit of him wanting to move his feet a little bit more, because he's just a little bit more unsure. So I'm going to work on here to see if I can get him to hook on to me. There we go. So it's so interesting with him, because he really does prefer the movement of my hand. But right now he's only allowing me the one hand and being in the specific spot. And I have to go back and kind of reestablish, hey buddy, remember we're friends. I'm the face rubbing friend. And then again, playing with the halter. And there he let me clip the rope on. So I was able to take his other shorter rope off, and he doesn't have that on anymore. And I like to use I think this rope's probably 40-50 foot, but that way I can always have a line on him when I'm working him. So as you can see here, he's wanting to move around a little bit, which again, that's totally fine. I will take it because he's been a little bit on the stickier side. But again, they kind of go through motions. We're figuring everything out. I'm going to work on a little bit of pressure and release again. It's actually a really nice shot. You can see kind of what I really liked about him is that he is actually nicely uphill. He's got to fill in the blanks a little bit with groceries, but I do believe there will be a nice horse in there. And just working on reestablishing going back and doing kind of the same things where I flip their mane over, I mess around with the halter. You know, when I rub the neck, I might see if I can go a little further back, but you can see here all of the hair that is falling off. So I know he has to be itchy under there. But we still really haven't had kind of the breakthrough. Like, he's okay with my touch, but he still hasn't kind of thought, oh man, this is great. So I'm going to see how much he's going to let me. Oh, it's just falling off though. I want to just get it all off, but I can't. I got to go in steps with this guy. And he's letting me go a little further back now. So that was really good. So I'm going to kind of walk away a little bit. And just keep practicing coming off of the pressure of the halter. So that's looking pretty good.
There you go. So that way we're a little closer to the camera. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Are you gonna come say hello?
Just working on bringing him up closer to the camera so you can see more so what I'm doing. And again, he's still kind of not sure if I am friend or foe sometimes. And any chance I get where I can practice getting him to kind of move off the pressure. So see, I have to go back and reestablish kind of it's okay with two hands. So I can get the halter, the lead rope on the loop.
That was very good.
But anytime he's unsure, I'm just going to go back and kind of show him, because he seems to like it when I go, okay, here you go. I'm going to show him and then move on from there. So now moving on to the right side. So he's typically only allowed me in the left. So it's good that he's letting me in on the right. But you'll see he kind of moves his body to put me back in the left. I'm going to work again off softening off the pressure of the halter to put me back on the right. So I still haven't felt like I can brush out his mane yet. But we're just working on getting those clumps of hair off. So, but this is pretty good for the right side. So much hair. And again, he's going to put me back on the left. he's doing really good because he'll let me kind of rub down by his chest. Got a little worried there. That was a good little instance of where he got a little bit worried about where my hand was, so he wanted to leave. So that's fine. I'm just going to bring him right back up here off of the pressure of the halter. And then I'm going to just reestablish again. And it's more so, I think, because I had two hands on this side. He's okay with the one so far. And then it's when I have two. Yep. He's not sure about the two hands together. Let's see if we can come off the pressure a little bit. And I'm just gonna work kind of quickly of putting my left hand up, because again, he's okay with the right hand, but not when I have the right and left hand. So that time I just kind of stuck my left hand out and then took it back. And that's me checking the camera. He's sitting on that halter a little bit. Was a nice release. You can even see on his chest there, he's got a big old tuft of hair. So again, I'm going to go back. I was on the right side, which is a little bit more uncomfortable for him, so I'm going to go back now to the left side, which is typically the better side. You can see if I can get him into the scratching and getting some more of that hair off. And he just wants to inch around a little bit, which I'm going to try to just stay right at that shoulder at a 45 and just kind of wait right here and see if I can get him to stop inching. And that was nice. So then gonna take a step back for him. And that was really nice how he took a step towards me. And you see I'm holding the lead rope a little bit just because this eye has a little bit more fly stuff on it, so sometimes I try to get in there to look at it. And I'm just trying to position him right now just because of where my rope is. And that was actually really nice to get some steps back off of the halter. And then again, sometimes too, taking that moment to take a step back, fiddle with the rope, doing all those kinds of things. Asking him to come off the pressure. That was really nice. So again, asking him to come off the pressure, and I've got a little bit of hay now to see. He typically hasn't been the most keen about taking the alfalfa from me. He seems to like more so the face rubs. So now I'm introducing him to the brush. And again, kind of the face for him is where he gets confidence. So letting him kind of sniff it, rubbing it all over his face, and then backing away. Giving some nice releases there. So now I'm just going to kind of wait to see if he'll let me in. And then when he stopped moving, I kind of took it away. And just getting it in that right eye. Yeah, that was a good boy. So now I switch back to the other side. And again, my student came up and we were chatting a little bit. So that's always good to kind of have other people being around when you're working as well. So I'm trying to get him to move up. And then just working with the brush. And getting him used to the feel and the movement on the side he's a little bit more comfortable on. And that was pretty good. Again, I'm not really brushing his mane. I'm just kind of using the brush, the main brush, to work on getting some of that nasty hair off and seeing if I can get him enticed to the feeling of it feeling good. And I'm actually moving a little bit further back. You can see again all of the hair that's just falling off. So when he gets a little bit uncomfortable, he moves a little bit backwards. So then I'm going to ask him to step forward. And then I'll go back to where I know he's comfortable, and then I'll kind of push a little bit further back. You see his little ears go back, and he says, "No, I don't quite like it there. What are you doing?" It's a really cute moment there, just when I'm talking. I'm just letting him kind of check me out, and then I'm going to ask him to step forward. There's not a lot of pressure on there. It's just steady, consistent until he decides to take a step forward. And again, when I go and I do this, and then I'm using both hands of getting the fur off the hair out of the comb. It's kind of good for him to kind of see the different movements with an object as well. And he's starting to think about things and kind of start to let some things go. And then again, just kind of like rinse and repeat. Because I can get to his shoulder, and then a little bit past the shoulder, he says that he's a little bit uncomfortable. So part of it is I got to kind of show him that it's not going to hurt him, and then that he'll have a release. And I'm just asking him to come up off the pressure again. So much hair. It's just coming out. And again, all of these kind of little steps of just asking him to come forward off the halter. And also, this is kind of a new sweatshirt, which hadn't been washed either. So it has, you know how some clothes can have a little bit of that new smell. So I think he's kind of like, "This, you smell different than you normally do." Out there, I was able to get a little bit further back. Now he's out of the camera, so you can't really see. And he needed to move his feet for a little bit. He likes to make sure to give Megan, who's on the rail, a bubble. But I try not to make too big of a deal for that kind of stuff. He let me get a little bit further than we've gotten, so I'm just going to go back just with my hand. Reestablish my touch after I'd been touching him with the brush. And I was actually quite happy with what we accomplished today. I was able to introduce him to the brush and kind of touch both sides. Got a little bit further on the left side to the point of the hip. So again, really pleased with what he was letting me do. And again, you can see my hand kind of get up by the point of the hip. And then I'm able to kind of get out of there. So, and then let him just now touch me and kind of be with me. So, really good session with Nateo.